All right, well, welcome back. Little girl seemed all of a sudden get like a raspy voice and a fever. Poor girl, but got her back in bed. She's good to go. With that being said, welcome back. My name is D. Together we are Guiding D-Light. Had to do a two-part. If you haven't watched the first part, you might not have missed too much. But go ahead and go back and rewatch that one. If you're tuning in here live and you're back in the groove with me, yes, let's get back on the vinyl. Let's play. We're going to go back over the map of consciousness with David Hoskins. Like I was saying earlier, the map of David Hoskins really came to me in my awareness over some time, right? And as that awareness grew, it's a great linear tool for us to use. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that back up. We're going to look through that. I'm going to talk over the map. We're going to pull some cards, do some good stuff. And we're going to have some fun. So settle on in. Enjoy this quantum escape. We're going to have a nice calm ride here, and things are going to be great. I just got to figure out how to use this daggone computer. Here we go. Transform. Sweet. All right. So levels of consciousness here. Here we go. So we really want to pay attention to like I said, to the center box here. Just stay at the center. So we got the third dimension, the fourth dimension, new humanity consciousness, and the fifth dimension, right? So this new humanity consciousness, this is where the level of humanity is tended to baseline out, right? Once all the shifts happen internally and externally with people individually coming into that inner light and inner wisdom, right? Right? Having that acceptance of being hoodwinked. So we're talking about shame and guilt and empathy and grief and fear. Kind of went over that. If you need a little bit more understanding of that, you can, like I said, go watch part one before the kids needed my attention. So coming out of that Victor, or I always want to say Victor because I'm coming into Victor, right? I'm no longer in a victim, a lack mentality, right? So when we're coming out of that victim, abuser consciousness and coming in that self-empowerment, when our inner light fills up and we become into that inner wisdom, that's when we get our inner love, right? And like I was saying, the inner love to me is more of it's more of it's more of, I don't know how to explain it now. It's like the acceptance of being in that inner love, but that's like I care more about myself than other things, right? But it's not being conceding, right? It's I make smart choices for myself. I put myself in positions, I'm easy on myself, right? You are your worst critic. And with that being said, I don't shame myself, right? And I don't have the guilt of shaming myself. And to avoid those lower frequencies of through the emotion and the mental body is very key when we want to step into self-empowerment, especially self-realization, right? So we get in this self-empowerment movement, and you'll see there's a lot of self-empowerment people out there, a lot of it's manifestation techniques as well. But you're coming into a self-empowerment, you're coming into a willingness to change, right? And accept the fact that you've been programmed and hoodwinked. And you're coming into that inner light, which builds inner wisdom. As you get the inner wisdom and you get that inner love, you come into that oneness, right? Because you understand that we all come from a source of energy, right? And when you understand that there's a divine source and all this is fractalizations of energies from that one source, it really brings you into a really now moment presence, an omnipresence, if you will. And then you get to the point where it's like, okay, I've got this light, I've got this acceptance, and I got this wisdom. But to go higher, to go any higher, you have to find balance within non-duality, right? So you can't be in duality. You have to escape duality to become non-duality, right? To get that higher level of awareness, right? And get into the great void. When you get into the great void, it is truly magnificent. No thoughts exist. Everything's free, and you almost get the sense of floating, right? It's one place that went up there and gotten a lot of divine intervention from, right? And obviously that divine grace and that love and that union coming into that full consciousness, 100% enlightenment, right? Understanding all 12 dimensions, very sweet. So if we look at the left side, we can look from in between the paradise to heaven, right? So if you hear people people are saying we're on heaven, right? Earth is heaven. Well, they've reached a higher state of self realization. They've raised their frequency. They've attained so much information. They've strengthened their inner wisdom. And by giving themselves inner wisdom, it brought inner peace, right? Very interesting. So, you know, we want everybody to be in a paradise consciousness level, right? With the new humanity consciousness. But a lot of people are in that in between moment, right? And like I said, for me, letting go of my pride was tough because pride was something I built my life on, right? That's pride in myself, you know. I think that's why sometimes I'm a little OCD with keeping things clean, but because I take pride in the things that I have. But as I said, if once you let that pride go and you become neutral, right? We're looking for neutrality. And that's what we're really looking for to begin climbing this ladder of ascension, if you will. Right. And then once we get into that neutrality, we have the willingness to accept the fact that we've been lied to. You know, it's very, very interesting. So you also look at the far left side here, you got the lower ego self, right? And that gives you kind of where you're at in that ego, 20 to 200. And if you look, it stops right at courage. So there's a fine line between too much pride and too much and like courage, right? So courage is a really good thing because courage can give you the opportunity to move forward in certain aspects and things within life. But your pride will hold you back, right? I'm too prideful to give this person an opportunity, right? Or you put your pride in the way and it stops the gift of the universe from coming in, right? So we can get in that neutrality we're willing to accept. Once we come in an acceptance, we can accept our inner light. I think it's very, very powerful how, like I said, David Haskins put this together. And I also find it very ironic that he transitioned 12/21/2012, literally the first timestamp that it was possible to, and he's up there paving the way for us, and I can't wait to quantumly entangle again. That's going to be great. So if we look at the if we keep looking at the far left side and we go up, we get in the higher self around 400, right? So we're getting that inner light, we're getting that higher self understanding. Okay. When we get the divine grace and the love union, that's when we embody the higher self. So when we embody the higher self, we become almost trapped in paradise, if you will. Yeah, now every once in a while, things will happen within normal life that it could pull us down into a frequency of, say, maybe a little bit of the lower ego, right? But it's what happens when you get pulled down, right? What happens when you get beat down? You got to get back up and keep going, right? You can't sit there and feel miserable for yourself and whining and self complaining and getting back into this victim. Poor me, right? I know it's tough. I've been there myself and I've had a lot of poor me moments. I remember, oh, geez, one time I was like crying historically, man. Just so upset and distraught. And like, my heart's out of rhythm. When you like really work yourself up, you see the kids do it all the time. You can't even get your breath back. Like, I've had moments like that, right? But then I also understood when I had moments like that, how it affected everything around me, right? I used to get so angry because I couldn't have a bad day, right? Like everybody else can have a bad day, and like I got to be positive and uplifting and all cheery deary, but then if I have a bad day, well, everybody else has to have a bad day too, right? It's like, but I didn't realize until later on in life the effect I have around the atmospherical of my fields is very powerful. And that goes back into my soul lineage, right? My soul essence and my soul peace has such a broad energy stamp that it can't help but be noticed, right? It's pretty cool, but in the same sense, it's eons of progression. And like I said in previous videos, there's a lot of strife, despair, there's a lot when you see a lot. You just it chalks up, right? But then again, you don't really become numb to it, but it's different for sure. So, like I said, when we're getting that higher self, the mentality, we're starting to come into that inner love and that oneness. Well, that oneness kind of starts getting us into that galactic self, right? And that's that presence in the non-duality that helps us get into our galactic universal self. And I kind of want to say the galactic and the universal. The universal, you will probably want to put at the top of this. That's why I said I don't 100% agree. The universal self to me is outside of this Milky Way galaxy, if you will, right? Universal, the whole galaxy. But in the same sense, the galaxy self within this galaxy, right? When you get into higher levels of that frequency, when you're in that kind of a bandwidth, you're going to have star seed recognition. You're going to have all these different lineages and pathways and aspects and avenues that you've been on before, right? And there's different times that these things are going to come in, but it's working with them and integrating them, right? It's always integrating that piece back into the marble, the ball of self itself, the joy ball, right? As you bring all these pieces in, you become less fractalized, right? And you have all these different aspects out there, and some of them are just running rogue, right? Some of them could actually be causing turmoil within your energetical makeup, if you will, right? And that's why it's up to you to bring all these pieces back in together and balance it, right? Because if you can come balance and come out of duality, realize everything has a right or a wrong, and choose to sit in the center, that's when these pieces start coming back together. And the more pieces you have together, the less fractal you are, the more power you have, right? if you're very fractalized, you're giving power here, you're giving power there. By the end of this, I mean, you got nothing left for yourself except maybe a small 1%, and that's all you out there. So not bring it in, right? So just an interesting perspective. I find this very interesting and very neat. So you can obviously see where you fall on some of these aspects, especially within the energy itself, but then where you're at within, a dimensional aspect, 12th dimension being the top in that grayish plasma, white plasma energy, right? You got to go through some dark, voided area to get to that 12th dimension, right? I think it's very cool that enlightenment is gold. Heaven's gates are gold, right? So very neat. And then obviously here on the earth plane, that purple seems to be a high frequency for a lot of people. And obviously the blue, right? The blue. I got the Kraken hat on. The Kraken with a K. You guys know Kraken's like a squid, but it's not. Just saying. One of the kids' baseball team. Pretty good stuff. So yeah, I wanted to show you this map of consciousness because I feel it very important that if you realize this map of consciousness, you can kind of see how you teeter totter. And like I said, when you're anger and not cry over the cup of spilt milk, right? Are you going to come back into your willingness and acceptance of the situation that happens and move on? Because you can get down into anger and then it takes you into grief, right? And then grief takes you to guilt, and all of a sudden you're shamed. You're all the way back at the bottom. So to not beat ourselves up and to know when we get knocked down, when we have these buffers of frequencies, these bombardtions of thought patterns and mental constructs that pound us, that make us contemplate ourselves, right? To make us go back down the ladder. Don't fall for it. And then if the ladder gets pulled out from underneath you, understand how to get back up it, right? I think it's very powerful. And like I said, I went through these steps and kind of understood how I came out of that pride and courage and came into more willingness, acceptance. But it was after the fact that I found this, which I find it very interesting. It's like the more I learn, the more I'm shown how much and how many people we have around us that are almost identical to what we do. You know what I mean? A little back into the studio. So that's awesome. I wanted to pull a couple cards. I know we went over a couple things last live, and that was powerful. It was pretty interesting that I hit the RV up like I did, right? And I was talking about the RV, and then all that chatter and all that noise just kind of disappeared. So obviously, yeah, situation's there. It's been there for multiple years, but I'm really looking forward to this growth, right? So we're in spring. This new growth is happening. Things are expanding. Things are evolving. And, just getting all my ducks in a row, if you will, but really like fine tooth grooming the property. We had Arbor Day, which was pretty cool. They were selling trees for like $1 a piece, little saplings. So I was able to get 23 spruce saplings, white spruce, and I put them on the back there by the greenhouse. So now that I got a windbreak, pretty windy out here on the prairie. But I was looking at doing that. It was going to cost like $300-$400 to get like, a 2-3 year old tree. Found these saplings. I'm stoked. So already got those in the ground. Already got the strawberries ready. Got to weed them and mulch them. Keep the flowers from coming up. But it's just been, I've lived at this property for 5 years. It's been a lot of work to turn a no-till farmland that's pretty much depleted soil back into an organic paradise, right? And to see the birds coming back, to see the wildlife, the organizations of the molecules within the dirt, just the hard work paying off, right? The bringing of the abundance to me, right? We're going to have a good fruit harvest. Planted a bunch of fruit trees, a couple of years, 3, 4, I don't know how many years, multiple years. We always, it seems like we plant a fruit tree every year, but yeah, lots of flowers this year. So we're looking at lots of good apples and stuff. And I got to thinking, I think I want to take the one tree and dedicate it to the Guiding Delight. And then you can have a little package where you can buy the apple. And then we have an apple ceremony where we all eat our apple and we get in tuned the frequency of the apple all connects us vibrationally. And then we can go do some work. I think that'd be pretty powerful. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Who doesn't like a fresh apple? So what does the energy oracles want us to know? What's the energy going to be like here for the next week? What's the energy going to be like for the next week? The world. So the world, all of the opportunities are there. You got the world at your fingertips. You have all of the energy, all of the tools that you need internally. The heavenly has come to the internally. So yeah, know that we have the world. All adjacent possibilities are possible at this moment. So don't pick the wrong ones, right? What are we gonna do? Hope everybody's doing well. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I am more than help out. Feeling good. Like I said, we get to go 2 times in a row. It was a little unfortunate what we had happen with the little girl. I hope she wakes up feeling good tomorrow. Definitely going to go put some good intention and love into her. We got the Temple Path. Love this card. The circle of the spiral is really calling out with me on the ground there underneath the temple. You're spiraling into that newness of you, that wholeness of you. Very good stuff. So we've got the world at our fingertips. The opportunities are unendless. We're on the temple path. So if we're staying on the temple path, we have the world of opportunities. This last card is going to be juicy. I can feel it. Yeah. Oh, come on. Ooh. Anxiety. All right, so we got to walk it backwards. To relieve the anxiety, we got to get back on the temple path, because on the temple path, we have the world at our fingertips. So don't let all this fluctuations of energies and programs and all of this fear porn keep you in anxiety and stop you from obtaining the temple path where the world awaits you, right? I think it's very interesting. A couple people over the last week have had some issues with multiple energies trying to communicate, multiple distractions. And as we raise our frequency, we come up these different baselines, right? So when we come up in like the 4th dimension into like the 5th, we're in that ancestry plane, that like astral realm where this energy's been there for eons, right? It's older than you, and then you think you're going to outsmart it, right? But then there's all this noise, right? Because it's where like a large majority of consciousness is held within this bandwidth. So when you pop up frequency baseline, now there's less people running into your wave patterns, right? And so forth as you move up. That's why when you really move up, it gets really quiet. Why is that? Because people that are on that frequency are not projecting. And let alone if they do start projecting, or they're curious to find people that are on that bandwidth, or they're trying to peer inside you, if you will, or deep into that conversation of that energy, you don't get messed with. So, like, it's a lot lighter, there's a lot freer, there's a lot less of everything, right? And it becomes more peaceful and more harmonic because you're not dealing with so many distractions and rogue energies and whatnot back and forth. So it looks like we do have a couple in the chat. Awesome, awesome. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm glad you guys are here with me. This is good stuff. I really want to hear what the Galactics have to say. I kind of have an idea that it's going to be persistency and now presence. But I'm curious. Those of you who don't know the Galactic Heritage cards, like you could literally spend probably a whole year trying to learn them. It's actually, she did a great job. That's what they look like. Artwork is definitely kind of abstract, which is cool. But the information that she channeled and put in there, and then all of the different, all of the different things that a lot of our souls, especially us old souls, have went through, and then now when we go through that progression, right, and we see where we've been from, right, the things that we've been through, and how the energetics and things that are going and working with now, and how those lessons are coming up, right, reoccurring, right, like history repeats itself, kind of ironic, but in the same sense, having the knowledge and the wisdom to draw upon what we did in past circumstances to make better future outcomes, right? We don't need to go blowing up planets, killing a bunch of people we love, right? There's been some sad mishaps happen out there, right? The Galactic War has been going on for quite some time. So, what does the Galactics want to tell us? Galactics. Once again, if you guys got any questions, you want to post anything in the chat, please do it. Oh, that one came out quick. How appropriate. Earth belief systems. Belief systems are changing. And that's what's really funny about what's going on in the world and how, COVID and the whole money situation. It's like you cannot not pay attention at this point. If you like are not paying attention to anything, it's like, where are you? Or are you sitting here just to get people to not pay attention, right? The distractors of the distraction. So there's like, I don't know, 100 cards here. That's a thick deck. Let's see what we get. Spiritual commitment. So we're changing the belief systems. We got to get the spiritual commitment going. What's the last one? Oh, logic and reason popped out, but I didn't feel right. I'd say logic and reason is important all the time, wouldn't you? Come on, darling. It's good. That's real good. All right. So we got devotion to service, right? Be devoted to your service, your practice, why you came here. You came here to uplift humanity, but in the same sense, you came here to be a shining ball of joy, right? That's why you got to walk around in the stores and smile at people, right? Tell people thank you. Tell people to have a nice day, spark up conversations with strangers. Just have fun. Enjoy life, right? As we have this devotion to service and we love uplifting each other and we bring each other into more of a spiritual commitment, right? We're committed to uplifting people by being devoted to service, right? That's when our belief systems change. As we become committed in our spiritual practices and we're devoted, right? We change Earth's belief systems. Belief systems crumble, aka timelines collapse. However you want to explain it. So, devotion to service, spiritual commitment, belief systems. I like it. I like it. Stay committed. You're changing your belief systems. Don't get caught up in that, right? You can teeter-totter. You can waffle back and forth for your whole entire existence. In fact, you could have it all figured out and then have the thought that you need to do something else and that this is going to happen before this can happen. And guess what? You just created it. You just created more turmoil for yourself. Congratulations. Cray. And then since it is guiding delight, we got to do one more. One more. Just one card from the guiding delight. Well, guiding light deck. Brought to you by Guiding Delight. Hope you guys are loving this service announcement. Things are good. Nobody's got any questions in the chat. That's all good. Everybody's just staying calm and collective. I'm liking it. Hope you guys are all doing well. Feeling great. It says boon. B-O-O-N. Heaven is rushing in and showering you with blessings. Open your heart and receive. Shall we? Boom. Love the colors. They match. Well, there you go. We'll go ahead and let that crown chakra open up. Get them tinglies going in your head. Allow that. Heaven is rushing in and showering you with blessings. Allow the blessings to come down and fill the heart. Breathe in through your nose. Always breathe in through your nose if you want to draw energy into your heart. And there we go. Boom. So as always, pleasure. I love hanging out with you guys. Glad we're getting to do this. Kicking ass, taking names. Like I said, really it was a calm week. Nothing was really outstanding to me, right? But I really just I thought it'd be a good night to come on and show you guys the map of consciousness and how it's helped me. Like I said, it's very interesting to see how we skate up and down. It's not like we stay in one desired location constantly, right? We have multiple external forces at play, right? Not only the forces that we see and deal with every day, in our day-to-day lives, but the forces that we can't see. Some of us are fortunate enough to perceive them, right? But some of us can't even comprehend some of the modalities behind the unseen forces, right? I like to think about it as you're always constantly surrounded by the divine, but you choose to tune in and see it, right? And that's why some people, when they take the magical mushrooms, right, they're allowing through the belief system that these mushrooms are going to help me. They're allowing that curtain to drop, right? And to those energies to come and fill and uplift. So very cool, very powerful, very inspiring. Looks like Genevieve popped in. Hope you're doing well. Matt, my boy, Blue Heart, loving it. And we got Antia. Glad you found me. Glad you guys are doing awesome. I'll hang out just for a split second here and see if anybody's got anything to chat about. I really don't have anywhere to be, except we're going to get into the higher conversations here in a little bit. Which it's always something that's been near and dear to me. So if you guys are looking to have a conversation, and to have a higher minded chat and a broad perspective on some of your belief systems, by all means, reach out. We will get you the information. Let's see. I mean, just like that, April's almost over. Um, there wasn't very many April showers here in Ohio. We did get a little bit of precipitation, so I'm kind of curious how these May flowers will be this year. Um, I want to spend every last dime I have right now on bushes and flowers. It's almost like an addiction I have for growth plants to see things vibrantly exist around me, right? There's this bush called a vibranium, all right? And I'm like, how appropriate. Like, I need one of those because it's the vibranium, right? It's vibrating awesomeness, right? It's like a snowball bush for those of you who don't know the terminology of the plants, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. See, I guess I'll tune in for a second, see what I get. I'm really getting that like easy D, like just be easy, like no force, just stay in power. And then when things are said or presented to you in a bad spell, or like somebody's saying something that's like cursing themselves, like just walk it back. Even if you don't say it out loud to the person, walk it back in your head and help that person out, right? If we allow things to exist, they'll end up persisting, right? And what persists, you can't get rid of, right? It becomes like an infection. So keep that in mind. Let's see what else. What else we need to focus on here? Seen a lot of gray. That's interesting. Gotta get that boon going. Fill that heart space up. Well, it feels right. It feels good. I guess what I'm really seeing is, excuse me, a little shamanic burp there. Yeah. Okay. So the grounding, right? How important the grounding is. Yes, it is truly magnificent to open your crown and to reach your signals, your arms, your wings to the higher angelical realms. But we must learn how to balance, right? And ground ourselves. Reason why is if you're grounded and your energy is not flowing sporadically up to higher dimensions without proper code significations, organization, it creates that anxiety. And as you come back into this balance, right, it helps your anxiety, it helps your fears, it helps everything go away. But then, okay, I choose to sit down, close my eyes, center myself, and become one. Okay, now I'm back up in the higher chakras. Working on the bottom three chakras is so important, right? I've said it over and over. The only three chakras that the only thing one that you can control is you. Only you can control the third chakra or the three chakras, right? Your higher chakras are more immensely powerful than you can comprehend. And as you progress within your ascension and you expand your consciousness, your chakras evolve and the codexes and how to communicate to your higher aspects grows within you, right? And that's how you get the higher connection and the higher, perspective of things. Very, very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful. Well, that's just it. I hope nobody's struggling. Like I said, if you got a quick question, go ahead and pop it. But that's just been it. I mean, we've been kicking ass, taking names, just nose of the grindstone in a way, but in the same sense, setting myself up for future abundance, right? Doing things now that's going to benefit me later, whether it is property wise, like I said, with the windbreak and the strawberries and all that good stuff, but also some of these other things, you know, the discipline with the kids, the hard conversations with the wife, right? To put these things together to progressively get more into abundance, right? Of course, we all want it overnight, and we've said it a million multiple times, but it's one step at a time. Can you change one thing a day, right? As you make these gradual changes, when you sit back 5, 10 years from now and you look back from where you came, you're going to have a great story to tell. And you're going to have a huge level of compassion and gratitude, right? With that being said, you guys, I hope you all stay awesome. Reach out to me if you need me. I'm always around. Tune in and find me. You can't miss the blue lights, the blue energy. You can't miss it. It's in my eyes, it's in my blood, it's in my aura. I'm just getting a little ping there, trying to pick up on it. The analogy of the flower, right? So we're in this crucial state of forming these buds, right? We're budding, we're in the budding stage. We're getting ready to open into a flower, right? So we have to put all of this energy into the bud. Well, the bud's you, buddy. Yes, that's good. But the ball is you. The bud ball is you. The bud is you. You got to bring all that energy into yourself. You got to bring all the fractalizations, all that energy back into the bud. So that way, when it becomes time to flourish, to open into the flower, you get a bigger, beautiful flower, right? If you have more bigger, beautiful flower, you have more radiance. If you have a big, beautiful flower, you can now, attract. You can now reflect, right? You the bigger your flower, the more influence in a way, right? How cool is that? So keep that in mind. We're in the budding stage. Don't be hard on yourself. Come into that inner self-love, find that inner wisdom, and just get your inners going. And then that way we can bud into that beautiful flower that you are. You guys stay awesome, be true, and until next time, peace and love.